On February 12, 2020, Nintendo released Pokémon Home, a cloud storage service and application that allowed players to move their Pokémon to and from compatible games on their Nintendo Switch. While operating much like its 3DS predecessor Pokémon Bank, Pokémon Home plays a much more important role in the Switch era of Pokémon games. Since the release of Sword and Shield, no single game in the series contains all the available Pokémon, making Home the only place you can store your full collection. This was a controversial shift at the time, and many players remain upset that certain Pokémon will always be excluded from the newest releases. Controversy aside, Pokémon Home continues to update its compatibility with subsequent main series games, even connecting with the mobile game Pokémon Go. As a way to promote their new service in June of 2020, Nintendo released each of the 3 starter Pokémon from Sword and Shield via a Pokémon Home mystery gift. Each starter had its hidden ability, which had previously been unobtainable, as well as beneficial natures and a couple perfect stats. Aside from the novel hidden abilities, these starters were otherwise unremarkable, and due to their widespread distribution, they were easily obtainable by most players. But soon after their release, some recipients were surprised to find that one of their starters was a different color than advertised. That's right, a lucky few who claimed their mystery gift actually received a shiny starter. This was very surprising, as mystery gifts like these are normally shiny locked. In fact, all of the mystery gifts released before and after this through Home are shiny locked, including the starters from Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl and Legends Arceus. What then makes these 3 so special? The most likely answer is that this was simply an oversight of the developers. It wouldn't be the only time Nintendo failed to iron out all of the kinks in their games. Regardless, this was a very rare occurrence, and each gift was only intended to be received once per person. So it's not like the starters could feasibly be shiny hunted or anything. Even if they could, they wouldn't be worth hunting in the first place, right? Right? So there's several things you need to consider when doing a hunt like this. To claim this mystery gift, you'll need a Nintendo Switch, a copy of Pokémon Sword or Shield, Pokémon Home downloaded on your Switch, and finally the mobile version of Pokémon Home for your smartphone or tablet. Yes, for some inexplicable reason, there is a mobile version of Home that has completely separate functionality from the Switch version. On Switch, you can transfer Pokémon to and from your games and move them around in your boxes. On the mobile version, you can trade Pokémon, create and assign labels, and most importantly, you can receive and claim mystery gifts. So how do you receive the starters? All you need to do is transfer Pokémon to your copy of Sword or Shield and vice versa. Then log into your Pokémon Home app, and you'll be notified that you have 3 mystery gifts up for grabs. Claim your gifts, and congratulations, you are now the proud owner of a monkey, a bunny, and a salamander. But how can you get more? The shiny rate for these is 1 in 4,096, the same odds present in most other games. So we'll need to go through a lot of these gifts if we want a shot at finding the shiny. Well, these gifts can only be claimed once per Pokémon Home account. Okay, so I guess I'll just have to create a bunch of Home accounts. Annoying, but I think I can manage. Wait, you can't delete your Home account? Oh, this is gonna be fun. For the majority of time these starter gifts were available, there was no way to delete your Pokémon Home account. That meant the only way to create multiple accounts was to create more Nintendo accounts, which involves setting your age, filling out a page of info, and verifying your email. Considering you need to go through this process every time to do a reset, this is already a lot of work. But wait, there's so much more. Once you've created the Nintendo account, you need to log into the Home mobile app to create the Home account. Except the app won't let you log out once you've already signed in, so you need to delete the app every reset. I certainly wasn't thrilled with this option, so I looked for a better way. Eventually, I decided to use the Android emulator Nox Player for everything involving the app. This gave me several optimizations that made resetting a bit more bearable, the main 2 being the ability to store backups to avoid deleting the app every time, and using input macros. These macros were very useful, but still required a lot of attention as I needed to initiate them anytime I closed the app, which happens a couple times every reset. On top of that, the macros were not perfect, and while most of the time they ran as intended, the app would occasionally stall, forcing me to take over. Alright, so we've got our new Home account up and running. Now we need to transfer something to Sword or Shield on the Switch. Unfortunately, to log into Home on the Switch, your Nintendo account needs to be linked to the profile you're using. That means every reset, you need to create a new user, log in with the account you just created, and delete the user when you're done. Anyway, with your newly created user and linked account, you can easily transfer a Pokémon in and out of Sword and Shield, and your mystery gift is once again ready to be claimed. After some practice and further optimization, I was able to get through one cycle of this in just over 6.5 minutes. Because each cycle nets 3 starters, each with their own chance of being shiny, I was left with over 2 minutes per starter. If you've ever shiny hunted in Pokemon, you know that 2 minutes per encounter is pretty slow. While it's certainly not the longest seen in the series, I'm sure most people wouldn't find this hunt worth it, especially when you can hunt these starters via breeding at a much faster pace. But for me, the novelty and the story behind these three was enough to give it a try. After all, anyone can Masuda breed in Sword and Shield, but very few would attempt a hunt like this. So, in the summer of 2022, I officially started my journey. At first I was making good progress, averaging about 80 gifts a day, but I quickly lost steam after a few days, and with work and other responsibilities, I only managed a few resets here and there for the following weeks and months. Then, on September 20th, Pokemon Home received the 2.0.2 update. This update didn't change much, only fixing some minor bugs here and there, but it did include the most important change for this hunt since Home launched: the ability to delete your account. Yes, a common sense feature that should have been included day one was finally added, and this was just what I needed to stay motivated for the hunt. With this new feature, I didn't have to make new Nintendo accounts anymore, now using the same account for each new home account. This also meant I could keep the same Switch profile, and I didn't have to delete it and relink it either. Overall, I was able to cut about 2 minutes from each cycle, going from over 6.5 minutes to 4.5. This may not seem like a huge time save, but those 2 minutes really add up over the course of hundreds of attempts. With about 700 starters seen, I continued my hunt and was rewarded for my efforts a few months later. What? No way, dude. Shiny Sobble? What? Dude. Wow, that came so fast. I was fully prepared to go like over 4,000 for this. Would have taken months. Wow. Look at it. This is so cool. Man, Sobble's definitely my favorite shiny of the first stage of the bunch. Dang. That's crazy. Jeez, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I got it so fast. It's beautiful. Let's take a look at him in the Switch version, because you can kind of see this cool summary screen. If I could get myself together, I can't even remember how to switch the cursor. Okay, there we go. Boom. Look at that. Had a fateful encounter in Pokemon Home. Wow. I have no words. Insane. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribing, as I have a bunch more shiny hunts that I've been working on that I'm excited to share with y'all. Most of them have been going on longer than this one, so it'll probably be a while before I get another video out, but I'll do my best. I'll see you in the next one.